Good day, Biafrans from all over the world. Good day to our brothers and sisters in the homeland, and to our sons and daughters scattered across every continent, from the shores of America to the streets of Europe, from the cities of Asia to the valleys of Australia. Wherever you are, wherever this message finds you, know that you are remembered, you are valued, and you are part of this great struggle. Good day to the spirit of our ancestors, whose blood nourished this soil, whose courage gave us a name, and whose sacrifices still echo in our hearts. They watch over us, still waiting to see if we will honor their memory or disgrace their legacy. Today, I come before you with a heavy heart and a burdened soul. My voice may shake, but my message will not. My hands may tremble, but my resolve is firm. For what I must say is not comfortable. It is not a story of triumph or celebration. It is a warning. It is a mirror held up to our faces. It is the truth many of us already know, yet we whisper only in secret because it cuts too deeply to say aloud. It is a wound we have refused to examine, a disease we have pretended does not exist, a cancer growing in our body while we look away. Biafrans, our greatest enemy is not always the one who comes with guns from outside. It is not always the one whose uniform we see or whose language we don't understand. It is not always the soldier at the checkpoint or the politician in Abuja. Sometimes and too often in our history, our greatest enemy wears our clothes, speaks our tongue, shares our meals, sits at our councils, and prays with us. This enemy knows our songs, celebrates our festivals, and calls our land home. Yet in the darkness, they plot against us. In the shadows, they sell us out. And when the moment comes, they open the door to our enemies. They become the Trojan horse within our walls, the serpent in our garden, the termite eating away at our foundation. Yes, I speak of the enemy within, the traitor among us, the betrayer in our midst. Let us go back, Biafrans. Let us remember. Let us walk through the painful corridors of our history. When Chukwuemeka Odumegu Ojukwu, our leader, our symbol of hope, our lion of the East, rose to defend our people during the Biafran War, he faced not just the might of Nigeria and its foreign allies, but also betrayers within. The British supplied weapons against us. The Soviet Union aided our enemies. But the deepest cause came from within. Men he trusted with his plans, whispered those plans into the ears of his adversaries. Men who ate with him, strategized with him, called him brother, turned around and pointed his enemies to his weaknesses. Men who sat in our war councils, took notes not for our victory but for our defeat. They memorized our strategies, not to implement them but to sell them. That is why some of our offensives failed before they began. That is why ambushes were set for our soldiers before they arrived. That is why supply routes were cut off before we could use them. That is why the war lasted as it did, costing millions of lives, perhaps over 2 million souls, including innocent children who starved to death. Not because our warriors lacked courage, but because secrets leaked from our own house. Not because our cause was unjust, but because our circle was compromised. And decades later, history repeats itself with chilling precision. Nnamdi Kanu, our brother, our voice in the wilderness, our modern-day warrior, was abducted, rendered, and silenced, snatched from a foreign land and dragged back into captivity. But ask yourselves, who told them his movements, who knew his schedule, who opened the door, who guided the hands that reached across borders to snatch him? It was not strangers alone. It was not ghosts. It was not magic. It was our own. Men and women who wear our name, who claim our struggle, who speak our language, but not our loyalty. People who sat in meetings with him, who knew his plans, who had access to his inner circle, and then sold that information for money, for favor, for protection, for their own selfish gain. Biafrans, do you see it now? Do you feel it? The pattern is not new. It is as old as betrayal itself, from Judas who sold his master for 30 pieces of silver to those who betrayed Biafra for crumbs from the table of Nigeria's rulers. from those who sold their people into slavery centuries ago to those who sell our freedom today for ministerial appointments, government contracts, and promises of safety. They study our tactics not to strengthen them, but to expose them. They dine with us not out of fellowship, but out of espionage. They pretend to cry with us while secretly rejoicing at our setbacks. But at night, they send text messages, make phone calls, write reports. They sell our strategies, our plans, our hopes to those who wish to crush us. They weaken us from within, and then the enemy strikes from without with deadly precision. It is not enough to fight the enemy at the gate when the enemy already holds the keys from inside. It is not enough to build walls when there are termites eating the foundation. It is not enough to lock the door when someone inside is opening the windows. Look at our history, my people. Look at our land. Look at the pattern that repeats itself generation after generation. Our markets are raided without warning. Our sons are arrested before they can escape. Our women are harassed at checkpoints that seem to know exactly when and where to wait. Our leaders are imprisoned because someone told the authorities exactly where to find them. Our meetings are disrupted because someone leaked the location. Our movements are infiltrated because someone opened the door. Yet the most dangerous blow is not the one that comes from outside, but the one arranged by insiders. Those who sit at meetings and send voice notes to Abuja. Those who take photos during our gatherings and forward them to security agencies. Those who sell photos, videos, and locations of our warriors to the oppressors. Those who compile lists of names and addresses. Those who laugh with us in daylight but plot with our enemies at night. Those who shout Biafra in public but whisper, "How much will you pay me?" in private. This is the deepest wound. This is the hardest pain. This is the cruelest irony that those who should be our shield become our sword, that those who should protect us become our persecutors, that those who should stand with us stand against us. And yet, we must face it. Because if we do not, we will bleed again as we bled in 1967. We will mourn again as we mourned in 1970. We will bury our heroes unsung, our leaders unprotected, our future unborn. We will watch our children die of preventable causes. We will see our dreams deferred once more. We will pass this burden to yet another generation. Biafrans, the time for naivety is over. The time for pretending is done. The season of blind trust has passed. We must wake up and name the problem. We must identify the disease before we can cure it. We must guard ourselves not just from the visible enemy, but from the invisible one inside our walls. We must learn to distinguish between true loyalty and performative allegiance. We must separate wheat from chaff, gold from dross, patriots from pretenders. But I am not here only to lament. I am not here merely to complain or to point fingers without purpose. I am here to awaken. I am here to sound the alarm. I am here to light a fire that will burn away the impurities in our movement. To every Biafran listening to me, whether in Lagos or London, in Enugu or New York, in Aba or Atlanta, I say this: you are the guardian of your brother's secret. You are the protector of our collective dream. You are the keeper of our sacred trust. You cannot afford to be careless. You cannot afford to trust every smiling face. You cannot afford to share sensitive information with everyone who claims to support the cause. We must build walls around our strategies, discipline around our ranks, and vigilance in our hearts. We must learn from our past so we do not repeat it. We must study our mistakes so we do not make them again. The enemy within thrives on three things: greed, ignorance, and disunity. Greed makes a man sell his people for a bag of money, for a contract, for a position, for a promise. Ignorance makes him think he will be safe after betrayal, that he will be rewarded forever, that he will not eventually be discarded by those who used him. Disunity makes it easy for the enemy to buy one of us against the other, to play us against each other, to divide and conquer as they have always done. If we kill greed with integrity, if we cultivate contentment and moral strength, kill ignorance with education, with awareness, with wisdom, and kill disunity with brotherhood, with solidarity, with genuine love for one another, the enemy within will have no soil to grow. The seed of betrayal will fall on rocky ground and wither. Do you remember how during the Biafran War, some local leaders collected money to supply information to the federal troops. Do you remember the stories our parents told us? Do you know how many innocent people died because of one man's betrayal? How many villages were massacred because someone revealed their location? Do you know how many plans collapsed because of one leak? How many brave soldiers walked into ambushes because someone sold the battle plans? Those who sold Ojuku's secrets to the enemy now have their grandchildren sitting in luxury, living in fine houses, driving expensive cars, enjoying the fruits of betrayal. But our children are still dying. Our people are still suffering. Our land is still occupied. This is the price of betrayal. This is the legacy of treachery. And look at Nnamdi Kanu today. Still in detention, still a prisoner, still separated from his family, from his people, from his mission. Yet, the ones who contributed to his capture are free, walking among us, pretending to be on our side, claiming to support the struggle, wearing our colors, singing our songs, but the truth cannot hide forever. The facts will emerge. Justice may be delayed, but it will not be denied. This is why, Biafrans, we must not only fight for freedom, but fight for purity in our ranks. We must wage two wars simultaneously, one against external oppression and one against internal corruption. Freedom without vigilance is an illusion. Liberty without discipline is chaos. A movement without security is a trap waiting to be sprung. Victory without unity is impossible. We must teach our children not just to fight, but to be loyal. Not just to be brave, but to be trustworthy. We must teach our young men not just to speak, but to protect, not just to be vocal, but to be vigilant. We must teach our women not just to nurture, but to watch, not just to support, but to scrutinize. We must raise a generation that understands that the struggle requires both courage and caution, both passion and prudence, because the enemy within is subtle, it is sophisticated. It does not always look like an enemy. It does not wear a sign saying traitor. Sometimes it looks like a friend, a colleague, a fellow fighter. Sometimes he speaks eloquently about freedom while secretly working for bondage. Sometimes it attends every meeting while reporting every detail. But its goal is the same: to weaken us, to break us, to hand us over, to ensure that we never achieve what we seek, that we never become what we could be, that we never fulfill our destiny. And yet, there is hope. Despite everything, there is still hope. Burning in my heart, I believe I know that there are millions of true Biafrans whose loyalty cannot be bought at any price. I believe there are sons and daughters of Igbo land who would rather die than betray their people. I believe there are guardians of our dream who will stand like walls around our leaders, like shields around our movement, like sentinels at the gate. It is to you I speak today. It is to you I call. It is your spirit I invoke. Rise up, Biafrans. Rise up from your slumber. Rise up from your complacency. Rise up and guard our secrets. Rise up and defend our unity. Rise up and expose the traitors in our midst without fear or favor. If you see something, say something. If you suspect someone, be vigilant. If you notice inconsistencies, investigate. This is not the time for blind trust. This is the time for disciplined loyalty. This is not the season for naivety. This is the moment for wisdom. The road to freedom is hard enough without betrayal. The journey is long enough without saboteurs. The chains are heavy enough without traitors tightening them. We cannot afford to be naive anymore. We cannot afford to ignore the warning signs. We cannot afford to pretend that everyone who claims to be with us is truly with us. Let us learn from Ojukwu. Let us learn from the mistakes of the past. Let us learn from Nnamdi Kanu. Let us learn from every setback, every defeat, every betrayal. Let us remember every fallen soldier, every massacred child, every raped mother, every burnt village. Let us remember how they died not only because of the enemy outside, but because of the enemy within. Let their sacrifice not be in vain. We are Biafrans. We are the children of resilience. We are the descendants of a people who refused to be erased, who survived attempted genocide, who rose from the ashes of war. We will not be broken by betrayal. We will not be silenced by treachery. We will rise above the enemy within, as we have risen above every enemy before. But we must be smart. We must be wise. We must be vigilant. But we must act now. Not tomorrow, not next week, not when it's convenient. Now, This is my call to you. Do not sell your brother. Do not betray your leader. Do not open the door to those who wish to kill us. Do not be the weak link in our chain. Do not be the crack in our wall. If you stand for Biafra, stand with clean hands. If you fight for Biafra, fight with a loyal heart. If you dream of Biafra, dream with an unbroken will. Let your yes be yes and your no be no. Because when we purge the enemy within, the enemy outside will be powerless. When we stand united, no force on earth can crush us. When we guard our house, no stranger can invade it. When we protect our secrets, no enemy can anticipate our moves. When we love each other truly, no amount of money can divide us. This is my prayer. This is my warning. This is my pledge to you all. I, Simon Ekpa, will never betray you. I will never sell our people. I will never open the door to the oppressor. I stand with you, for you, and among you, not as a perfect man, but as a committed son of Biafra. Not because I am better than others, but because I have chosen this path. And I call on every Biafran to make the same pledge. Let us covenant together to be faithful, to be loyal, to be true. We have lost too much to betrayal. We have buried too many dreams. We have shed too many tears. We have endured too many chains. Let this be the generation that breaks the cycle. Let this be the season when we say no more. Let this be the movement that guards itself, protects itself, purifies itself, and triumphs over the enemy within. May the blood of our heroes guide us. May the spirit of our ancestors strengthen us. May the memory of our martyrs inspire us. May the dream of Biafra unite us. May the hope of freedom sustain us. And may the enemy within find no home in our hearts, no seat at our table, no key to our house, no place in our ranks, and no future in our land. Biafra lives, Biafra rises, Biafra shall be free. Thank you, and may God bless every true Biafran.